Well, I can't exactly pass this up. oh. Got a defector. Get up and feed me. Silly potatoes. Hey, what's going on? Guys just hanging out. Do you still have the hungers? Okay. Well, Mama was full. I wasn't gonna. Oh, well, that's. Oh, I don't want to pick you up. Oh no. Oh, your little tummy's fat. I will bring the mochi in anyway. Yes. Okay. All right. Apparently, the boys still have the hungry tummies, so they don't look very hungry. I'm gonna show you guys. Javachino. Java. Stop. Food train your goats. I always say food train your goats. Momo. She knows, for whatever reason in her brain. Food train your babies. They're like, she's on the stand. She knows that for whatever reason, I've already fed them outside. I brought Gummy in and fed the boys. She knows when I open that door again, just the first time, that she's up and it's time for her to come in and get some more food. I know, but you gotta feed those babies. Boys, come on. Easy. She, okay, take this down a bit with flashcards. She knows if I'm sitting beside her, it's the same as milking. She'll calm down and she'll let them eat. And they look good, guys. They look really, really good. I don't think they're as hungry as they think they are, but goats always think they are starving. What is up, guys? Welcome back. It's Baby Goat Pandalarium. Why are you two fighting? All right, I'm not gonna try to angle the camera at you two while I'm trying to talk. Welcome back. I want to talk a little bit about some of what we've learned this year. It's not a lot, but with dewormers, I've learned a ton this year. But with worms specifically, this year what we've been seeing is a lot of combinations of worms, and it's mainly barber pole and coccidia running amok together. So it's been a very interesting year. And as we're always doing research, one of the interesting things we found that this is going across the entire country. It's a coccidia worm load combination. And where we failed early in the spring is not recognizing this, because in baby goats, if they have diarrhea, 99% coccidia is taken over. Always check eyes, always do FAMACHA check. FAMACHA, F-A-M-A-C-H-A. Just go up there, go out, pull up a chart, just Google FAMACHA chart. There's some fantastic charts out there. FAMACHA is the pink level in the eyes, nose, mouth. You only check it on the eyes, but if you just happen to be walking by and your goat is chewing their cud and you see that their gums are super pale white, you probably have an issue. So what we've been noticing, God, I need some airflow in this barn. It's got to be the humidity. The hygrometer has to be, yeah, relative humidity. It's just buried. It did stop raining today. So if you're not, this is why we started looking, because baby goats, if they have diarrhea, I would almost guarantee you 99% that it's coccidia. So treat them with toltrazuril, nothing else. If you don't have toltrazuril, it's expensive. Buy it, have it on hand. The amount of people that I've talked to that have lost goats because they didn't want to pay for toltrazaril, baffles me. You have things like Safeguard. What's the other one? I don't even know, because Safeguard is one of those ones that you mix up in a lot of water, and you generally end up, your vet's going to say, put it in their water dish. And then you don't know if they're drinking the water or if they're drinking enough of the water to get enough of the medicine to kill the coccidia. I'm not talking about Safeguard. I'm talking about Corid. I'm sorry. I was mixed up in my brain. Safeguard is a dewormer. It is this. This is valbazen, which is albendazole. Safeguard is fenbendazole. This is very broad spectrum and kills just about all worms, whereas Safeguard is very limited. Also tapeworm, valbazen for tapeworm. There's one, and I think there's one other that kills tapeworm, and it's not Safeguard. So Corid is the coccidia medicine that your vet's going to tell you to use, because that's all they can tell you to use, since toltraz is technically, I don't know how, illegal, but a vet cannot prescribe toltrazaril. So anyway, Corid is caustic, it burns, it's a 5-day dose, and then you're going to repeat in 5 to 7 days, or 7 to 10 days, you're going to repeat another 5-day dose. Toltrazaril is a one and done. I don't know how else to make it more worth your time. By the time you buy enough Corid to do 10 doses, it's not very effective. You know that it's caustic. It burns your goat's mouth, nose, stomach. It can mess up their everything, rumen, more importantly than anything. When you have something like toltrazaril that's out there that you can just give them one dose and they're done. Now, this year's been a struggle, and probably because I said it on camera, you know, the number of goats that I've had to double dose with toltraz before this year, I could count on less than one hand. But that's not a, I could count on one hand. I think it was like 2 or 3 tops. This year, we have had several repeats of goats that we've had to retreat with toltraz. If they're still having diarrhea in 3 days, I would retreat again. I don't think I've ever had anybody go past that. So a second dose of toltrazaril. But if you have something out there that you can dose one time, and it'll take care of the coccidia, I don't, it's because it's so cheap to buy Corid, and that's what the vet prescribes. Go online, find yourself a nice website that you trust. They're usually in Russia or Mexico. Just make sure you're getting the toltraz that is the 5% solution. There's a 2% out there, don't get that. You just have to use twice as much. Easy math. So I say all of that to come back around to the point is, this year, we've been seeing a lot of coccidia in adult goats. Now, that's not something you normally see. And why is that? Because generally, an adult goat, like Sprinkles, if they haven't gone through a kidding, there are very specific scenarios where, you know, if their body's run down, they just finished kidding, they got a bunch of babies on them. Know your goat, everything is scenario-based, totality of circumstance. So if you're seeing coccidia in an adult goat, say Sprinkles has coccidia, or you think she has coccidia because she has diarrhea, check for worms first. We've been seeing a lot of that this year, where the worms are bringing the goat's system down so much, so fast, that it looks like they have coccidia overload. A healthy adult goat, meaning low to no worm load, will not present with coccidia because their body will annihilate coccidia on its own. So if you're seeing an healthy adult goat with coccidia, it's probably due to worm load. So check worms. That's probably where you're going to start, and I'm going to say most likely you're going to end up finding that they're wormy, and that as soon as you clean up the worm load, you're going to find that their body again is able to just beat the coccidia on its own. I would say you could still treat it, but probably not necessary. Are you leaving, Momo? Bye. she's so ornery. So, full circle again, the reason we're talking about it, and me talking about treating Muffin for worms, is she doesn't have worm lobe. Her eyes are not light pink or light white or white. So why are we treating her? Because we have found, after years of kidding, don't do it. Thank you. He was soaping this bucket. Again, this is normally only in here at night, so that all these moms and all these adult goats will have water to drink at night. And I'll take these out of here in the morning, usually before I let any babies out. It's been a little different this morning since we're chatting about deworming. Hey, babies. I don't know if they'll come back. They might not. I had to go Easter egg hunt some babies. So the reason we're going to treat... Hey, Mochi, go get those babies and bring them back. Thanks. Don't go babysitting. Don't just wander off into the park. You guys. Get your little chubby butt. Get inside. Get inside. You're so silly. We will always treat a goat for worms after she's kidded. We have found that over the years that kidding takes a lot out of moms. Everybody knows this. This is simple math. Those babies are going to steal everything that they need from mom. And if mom doesn't have it, they're going to take it anyway. So what you end up with is sometimes your moms can end up being run down. And this is not true for everybody. I personally, looking at Muffin right now, I wouldn't even consider deworming her. But every time we've decided not to, we end up with the problem that she becomes wormy because her system's down. And again, this year with the coccidia blooms, if she becomes wormy, then she's going to have coccidia outburst. And then we're going to be treating her for both things. So every time, regardless of goat, regardless of year, when mom kids, that is the only time we deworm out of sequence. Outside of that, the only other time we deworm is as needed. So we have found as a good preventative for worm outbreaks, worm explosions, worm blooms, after kidding, deworm the mom. And we feel good about that because we don't kid. You know, some people kid once a month, or deworm. I see babies running around. Look, y'all, I'm easily distracted by baby goats. And if you're not, you may possibly be on the wrong channel. Hello, beautiful. You are ornery. Why do we always keep the ornery ones, as this one is eating my earbud? Hi. So, I know a lot of gobbledygook I've said, but since we only deworm as needed, we feel okay deworming moms after kidding. Ha, you got yours. And the reason we only, like I was saying before I was distracted by goats, some people kid, I did it again. Some people deworm once a month or once every 3 months or once every 6 months. Now, if you're using herbals, if you're using herbal dewormers, you can do that every month. You could do it every day. It's not going to hurt them. But when you're using medicines to deworm, I personally, I wouldn't do, I don't know what I would do, honestly. I probably wouldn't do more than every 6 months. But that's one of those all-inclusive blanket statements where you treat every goat every 6 months. And in the middle of that 6 months, 3 months into that, she might have a little worm issue. And then she gets missed and then deed. No, you're not dying. You're not dying. I saw you side-eye me. You're like, am I dying? You're not dying. Okay, so I'm going to get that done. I have to weigh up Drummy because she is actually presenting with coccidia right now. And I noticed it last night, so I checked her eyes, and she's very pale in the eyes. I will try to get that on camera to show you how pale she is. But I don't think the coccidia is the problem. We might go ahead and deworm her today and then maybe treat her for cocci tomorrow. But she's not eating, and she's doing a lot of this. And I saw the poops come out, so it's definitely very, very loose. So we're gonna get her dewormed. We're gonna get Muffin dewormed. We're gonna pet some cute baby goats. Hi, baby goats. I know, girls, everything is wet. Why are we on top of stuff? This is why I pick up bins every day, because these little goobers like to go in here and stand in them. It's a thing Gingy started, isn't it? Okay. Deworming. Come on, let's get you out here. So, Muffy weighs in at 89. I know it's kind of a mess over here, but I have this fly paper down. The flies had gotten so bad. It was so dry. And then the rain came, and I think it just hatched everything. It's like the last hurrah. So as one of our standards, guys, is Cydectin for a dewormer. This is oral drench for sheep. They don't make goat stuff. I already talk about this all the time. They do not make, very, very few drugs are specifically made for goats. And I don't know of any that are actually made for goats versus they are for sheep and goat, or sheep, cattle and goat, or pig, goat, horse, and cow. So keep that in mind. You always want to use 2 dewormers. That's pretty much the standard now. You'll want to use 1 dewormer from each class. And I think there are 4 classes total. And so, stop breaking stuff. That's why we can't have it. The classes generally are color coordinated. So you'll have whites, which are generally considered the safest. You'll have clears. This is a clear liquid. You'll have I think yellowish is a class. And then I'm class 4 pretty much is clear as well, but very clear, like Prohibit. Prohibit is a powder that you're gonna mix with water. It is the last end all, beat all, kill all. If Prohibit doesn't work, just, I always say it, and it's not a very nice way to say it, dig a hole. Fifty-one. That was very interesting. It's not often you see a goat actually want to suck down wormers like that. So, except Cookie. So what I'm gonna try to do, Java Chino, is just show you her eye if she'll let me. Okay, baby, come here. Come here. I know this isn't the exact perfect test, and everybody's gonna complain. You gotta roll the eyelid down, roll the eyelid up. If it's white, you know it's white. She's pinkish, but she's going the wrong way. So, wormer's not gonna hurt her. And I think, as you guys can see, she's a bit of a mess back there. And this is why we always talk about poop. Hi. Did you two just nuzzle each other like in the cutest way ever? You guys want to live here? You can't live here because which one are you? You're the little girl, so you can. You can live here and you can live. Look at your white. You're so pretty. Okay. Get them out, mama. Take these babies with you. Now, her mama is not doing a very good job of cleaning up her butt. And when they have that little gold, kind of that colostrum poop is what we generally call it. I'm sure there's a technical name. I don't like to get too terribly technical. But that colostrum poop is a bit sticky. It's a bit pasty. And then they'll transition over to little black pebbles, like you see the adults, but smaller. But her mama, for whatever reason, God, everything is swollen. I can't even get the gate open. The moisture level, the wood is just sucking in all the humidity. And guys, I know people right now have it way worse off than we do. But that's it, guys. That's it. I started saying this when I started talking about goats on the channel, when I first started the channel. Not because goats, but because goats, one, somebody is always either in trouble or, oh goodness, you got your legs under you today. Look at your face. Hi, Miss Cookie. Hi, beautiful. Aunt Cookie. It is a fact. Goats, every single goat, somebody is either in trouble or looking for trouble. This is why we can't have nice things. Because they just want to knock it over. Does this knock over? I used to say that a lot when I started the channel. Does this knock over? Does this knock over? If it will, if it can be knocked over, they'll knock it over. But more importantly than anything, and I think it's a very easy phrase to remember, know your goats. Your goats. My goats have nothing to do with your goats, your environment, your location. You know, and if you guys, I assume a lot of you guys also watch Danelle and Crystal. And, you know, when Danelle is like, wow, man, it's really cooling down out here. It's going to only be 90 degrees today. You know, her goats are acclimated to that. They were born there. They grew up in that. So when it's 120 degrees to them, it might be a little hot. Our goats probably wouldn't make it in that. That's just too hot. And they're not used to that. They are used to some weird... I don't know if Danelle's goats would be used to 20, 30, 40 degree swings in temperature. That's Ohio. I mean, we'll go from 50 in the morning to 85, 90 in the afternoon. You know, they wake up chilly and then boom, 3 hours later, it's 90 degrees. We have some massive temperature swings in our area. We have very wet springs, very wet falls. Sometimes winter can be a real bear. Sometimes winter is just, you know, 40 degrees, mild, every day, beautiful. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were eating off of that when you're nearly the size of your mama. You guys are so crazy. So that's why I started saying that, to know your goats. You have to know your area. You have to know your goats. I walk through here every day, and I'm not just shooting video, and I'm not just feeding goats. I'm looking at them. I'm watching them. You know, is she acting a little dumpy? Why is she standing over there by the gate? Weird. That's normal for her. She's like an observer. Genji loves to go behind this gate. Genji loves to stand in bins. Genji loves to stare into your soul. She's slow. She's very intentional with her walking and moving, and and that's why we call you the Eeyore of goats. So for her, so if you know, if Mr. President was moving around slow and dumpy and being like Genji, it would be a weird thing. But if Genji, at what speed do you have to slow down to for me to be concerned with your movement? Right? Hi. You would have to go like sloth speed for me to be concerned about you. I know. Oh, we'll get that big, beautiful beard. We're just going to watch this for a second because I don't have anything else to say. Know your goats. Know your goats. If you're in a scenario, you always have to do what you think is best. We have missed some things. Jack was probably my biggest miss. And he had not always struggled with worms, but when he got older, he struggled with worms. But he was probably... That energy's in me, and it's got to come out. got to come out. Look at you, beauty, glowing in the dark. Hi. This is why I'm trying to crouch down and shoot baby goats, but then I end up with a Roni or a Tappy or a Javachino on me. Jack was the master at hiding. And I think the boys tend to hide more than the girls. They want to mask that they're not feeling well, that they're dumpy, that they're down. And I think that's just a natural survival thing. You know, the weakest animal in the wild gets picked off first. The slow, the old, the sick. Those animals are going to get killed by predators first. That's natural selection, really. The problem with Jack is he would hide it so well. And then he would hide it to the point... echolocating. He would hide it to the point where I'd come over and he'd be down already. He would look normal one day and 12 hours later he's laying on the ground. So that was a major miss for us. And I can't say all this stuff and then pretend like I'm perfect over here because we've missed a couple goats with worms. Oh my goodness. You guys are very silly potatoes. I love it. But there it is. Worm your goats. That is all, guys. I hope at least something sticks if you know. Feed them good, love them, and just keep a good eye on them. Mr. President, Mr. Marlin, hi. Am I in the boys club now? Awesome. Here, if you get under there, yeah, I can pet Mr. President's face and I can scratch your back with my arm at the same time and everybody's happy. Hi, beautiful. What would we have done? What would we do without you, Guy? Huh? What? I don't regret a second of keeping you. I do regret your mama passing. I'll get you a spot right there. All right, bye, guys. Guys, more important and most important and definitely super important, stop loving me so much. Get a nice scale. This is a Redmond scale. We've had it for 5 years, 6 years. It is extremely accurate. It doesn't burn much battery. It's, okay, goodness sakes. They make bigger ones to make it easier for you, but this one fits a Nigerian dwarf quite easily. It has taken a licking, and some of you old folks just said in the back of your mind, and I consider myself old folk, so don't you be razzing me in the comments. Some of you old folks just said, and keeps on ticking. Timex commercials from the 80s, yo.